Alright, this is our last video on giving and the heart of God in giving and the motivation to motivate men and people, us. But I'm going to talk about what I am hearing from the heart of God about this concept and phrase that I hear that we're a debt-free ministry or a debt-free church and debt-free this. And I want to bring in the heart of God a little bit, if I may, by God's grace. In the days of King David, who was a man after God's heart, and he was really a picture of the lineage of the king that was then going to come, Jesus, who was then going to be the Savior for the whole world. But as a fruit of David's heart following after God, his son ruled with such peace and prosperity, really because of the blessing that was left behind from King David. So the son of King David, who was a king after God's heart, experienced such blessing and prosperity. The entire land was so blessed in the days of Solomon that it says in 1 Kings 4:25, and Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. So basically, every person in the entire nation was blessed under the blessing that flowed down from King David through Solomon, and the entire nation, everyone had their own land, they had their own house, they had their own fruit tree, they had their own vine, everyone had their own place. There was no debt in the entire kingdom. There was no debt in the entire kingdom. There was no debt and lack in the entire kingdom. That, I believe, is the heart of our Father. That's the heart of God. So, the perspective of God, what I would see in this is the goal would be for a church to be debt-free. That would mean that every family, every part of God's church is free. That the generosity that's flowing through the living Father through the church, that there is no poor among us, that everyone has their own land and their own house. And there is freedom and blessing and prosperity so great because of the faith, because of coming from the heart of our Father through Jesus, who's our King, and we live in a better covenant, established on better promises. So I believe that that is possible for today. I believe that's God's heart for debt-free churches and debt-free ministries, that we would have his perspective that a church is not buildings, the church is the people. And the church of ministries is not buildings, it is the people. So I believe the heart of God is that the flood of generosity would come back so much into the kingdom that there would be no debt among us. All right, because we would be building businesses and moving things around, and God would be giving us witty inventions and all sorts of things. So things would be getting established so that there was such a flow of blessings and generosity that everyone was repositioned in that place of blessing, in that place of their moving forward in their destiny and their calling, and the blessings are coming from that. All right, God bless you.